All right, we made it. We are walking into Magic Kingdom right now, and it took about 2 hours to get here with some traffic, but we made it. Just our luck, we got the Coco card, her favorite. All right, we are checked in to All Star Sports after spending the day at Magic Kingdom. We took a break just to get unpacked. Get unpacked all of our little cubes. My Magic Band is charging. She's playing, but it's like 4 something, and I really want to run to the food court. One, because apparently they might have a microwave, so I could heat up her mac and cheese that I brought. Because, by the way, the resorts do not allow you to bring in food that needs to be heated up. So My plan originally was to bring her food to the park and heat it up in the baby care center, but I can't do that. So kind of sucks just for allergies and stuff, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna see if they do it at the food court. If not, I'm just gonna order her something. I'm gonna order myself something. We're gonna come back here and eat and just like hang out for a couple of hours, and then we have a lightning lane, whatever you want to call it, for Runaway Railway. So we'll go to Hollywood Studios a little bit later. Our room is right off the pool. Obviously nobody is swimming in, but ground floor and right off the pool. We're gonna go. We got all the way here to do our lightning lane, and the standby time for Runaway Railway is 120 minutes, and the lightning lane line is like wrapped around the entire building. I'm not, like we're not. So we're just gonna take the Skyliner to Epcot, maybe do like Nemo and Friends, and I'll get my annual pass holder magnet, take the Skyliner back, and just go back to the hotel, because it's not worth waiting for one ride for her. Oh my god, the quality is terrible. I can't tell if this is gonna be worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to Hollywood Studios and it was completely packed for Runaway Railway. It was 120 minutes standby, and with our lightning lane, it was still the longest line I've seen for lightning lane. So yeah, so now we're on Skyliner. We're gonna go to Epcot to do Nemo and Friends because we got a lightning lane for that. I don't know that it was worth it, like getting in the Skyliner and doing this. In just a few moments. I think it was bold of me to take her to Epcot on Skyliner. It's like 7:30 right now, I think, and she's definitely tired. It's been a long day. She did nap. So I'm like, I think I might have pushed my luck, but I knew I wanted to at least try Epcot to like get her on a couple rides, and then tomorrow we can just spend the day at Animal Kingdom. And so I'm just hoping that it's worth it to go there, do the Nemo and Friends ride. I grab my magnet, and then we have to take the Skyliner back to Hollywood Studios, get in the car, and go back to the hotel and go to bed. Good morning from All Star Sports. Got home from Epcot and immediately went to sleep. So that's what we did. We're eating breakfast right now. And I don't know what time it is. It's like 8:30, 8:45. But the good news is, the fun, exciting thing is that we're going to stay another night. I managed to scrape up the cash to stay one more night, which is really exciting because she wants to spend the day at Animal Kingdom. We want to, you know, look at all the animals and stuff. And then she didn't get to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway yesterday. Obviously, you saw that. So we may try to go get that done today too. But today is definitely going to be Animal Kingdom focused. But I'm just really excited. We're having such a good time. She's been amazing. Literally hasn't cried a single time in this whole trip so far. She's been so happy every second. Like, just all the memories are being made. It's worth it. It's 100% worth it. So we're eating breakfast right now, and then after that we'll probably head over to Animal. the Disney cartoons playing. Our toys are sleeping. That's her snoring. We spent the morning at Animal Kingdom. As you guys saw, we were able to do Navi River Journey, which she really liked. After that, we played in the Boneyard play area, which was really cool. I've never been in there before. I've never had a need to go there, but now that I have a toddler, I did. And she could have spent the whole day in there, honestly. We had to leave to get to our next Fast Pass, but she loved that. Sorry, I have makeup on my... But she loved the Boneyard. We also went to, I forget how you say it, Satuli Cavern to get lunch, which she did not eat. So we were supposed to share the cheeseburger pods. They can make them allergy friendly, and they did, and she did not want to eat anything. So I ended up eating them. We went on Kilimanjaro Safari. Again, she loved it. Fun fact for you, had a little tiny start of an anxiety attack on Kilimanjaro. I haven't had that type of anxiety in a while, which I had it at Animal Kingdom today before doing Kilimanjaro Safari. I don't know, I think it's because like my body is very exhausted from doing this by myself. So I guess that's something I would say if you are someone who is going to be taking a toddler solo to Disney. It's a lot of work and you really should give yourself time to relax. I did not give myself a lot of time. You guys saw all that we did yesterday, and then we woke up and went to Animal Kingdom, and I think my body was just like wanting to relax, and also just all the physical labor that you're doing when you're like hauling a toddler on and off things, running around to chase them, to get their hand, the stroller, loading and unloading the stroller. Oh my God, that's the worst part of it. And also just like having to hold her when we're in line for rides. That was part of the reason why we came back to the hotel today. Like, I just wanted to see if she would nap. She didn't, but she at least laid down and did some quiet time with me for a couple of hours, so I'll take it. But just to relax for a little bit. We ate lunch. She just ate a big lunch. I just ate a kid's meal. Now she's playing and I'm debating on our next move. Oh, a kiss?
Doc, it's not about listening with your ears, it's about listening with your imagination.
All right, now that I am back home and we have done our trip, I rounded up just a small list of advice and things that I would want you to know if you're going to be bringing a toddler or a small child by yourself to Magic Kingdom or any of the Disney World Resort parks offerings. My first piece of advice is if you are uncomfortable loading and unloading a stroller by yourself, like for example, on all of the Walt Disney World trams and buses, you have to completely break down your stroller to load and unload on the vehicle. So if that's something you're uncomfortable with, for example, I was uncomfortable with it, so we did not utilize the buses or trams while we stayed on Disney property and while we were at the resorts, just because I didn't trust that my toddler would actually stay with me when I was loading and unloading. It just didn't feel safe, so I didn't do it. We walked to our parking and all of that stuff. But if you're uncomfortable with loading and unloading your stroller, but you don't have the option to drive around Walt Disney World property, I would consider renting a stroller at one of the parks or Disney Springs. If you rent for the day. So it's not like you have to repurchase a stroller rental if you plan on park hopping. You can just start your day by renting a stroller and return it when you're done at, let's say, Magic Kingdom. Go to Epcot, rent a stroller, you're not paying anything additional. The last time I checked, the prices weren't too wild, so if that is something that would make your life easier when taking a small child to the parks, then I would consider, that an option for you. The next thing that I want to tell you is that I do think that Genie Plus and Lightning Lane is worth it if you have toddlers who cannot sit still long enough to be in long lines. Now, I went on a Monday and Tuesday. I thought that those would be very low crowd level days. Turns out I would say it was pretty moderate in terms of crowds. You still had a lot of people left over that were in the cheer competition season, so there were crowds there. I did utilize Genie Plus on both of my days, and from my experience of doing that, I would say that Genie Plus was very much worth it for Magic Kingdom. If you are going to Magic Kingdom with your small child and you're going by yourself and the trip is about them, I would say Genie Plus is worth it. My toddler is still at that age where she can't ride anything unless it's got no height requirement. So there were a lot of attractions she could do at Magic Kingdom, and I really wanted to make sure that she had the option to do them. So we did the Genie Plus for the day, and it was worth it. We hit, I think, 4 or 5 attractions at Magic Kingdom, and that was when we only did a half day at the park. So for me, it was worth it with a toddler. I think the longest we ever waited in a line was 5 minutes. So it was worth it for us. Another piece of advice is to utilize the baby care centers. All 4 Disney parks, and I believe Disney Springs, each have their own baby care center, and these are worth it. You do not have to have a small baby in order to use them. Kids are fine. Just utilize the baby care centers. It's a great place to cool down, especially if your kids are having a hard day. Maybe there's been a lot of tantrums. Maybe you can tell that they're overstimulated. Take them to the baby care center. It's quiet. They often have separate rooms where if you need to go, just sit with them for a second in a small room that's quiet and, dim lights. It's there for you. A lot of people use this space if they need to breastfeed. They have breastfeeding stations. They have high chairs and small tables if you want to feed your kids in a smaller area that's more comfortable for them and more practical, especially for little ones. They have bottle warmers. They have family-sized bathrooms. They have really comfy changing tables instead of having to change them in just the hard plastic ones available in all the restrooms on property. The baby care centers have actual nice changing tables. They also have a small shop, so if you ran out of diapers or sunscreen, wipes, whatever it is, they have it there to purchase. You'll notice the calming atmosphere right when you walk into a baby care center, and it is not only, I think, a relief for a toddler to go in there and take a second to calm down, it's actually great for the parent or caregiver as well. Bringing Lennon in there to do a diaper change at Animal Kingdom was so nice because it was so quiet. To go from the loud Animal Kingdom music and crowds and everybody talking, which I enjoy, but to take that moment to just go in the baby care center, change your diaper in there and have it be nice and calm and quiet was the perfect reset for the rest of our day. Utilize it, utilize it, utilize it. If you have the option to take a midday break at a resort hotel or off-property at an off-property hotel, you should do it, especially if you have a toddler that is used to a nap. Lennon is still on 1 nap a day. However, she's at the point where we can sometimes swing no naps and she's perfectly fine. For this trip, both days she did not nap. However, on the second day, we had access to our resort room. So on the second day, after our morning at Animal Kingdom, we were able to go back to the hotel and rest for a couple of hours. She did not nap, but she did get to lay in the bed with me. We ate some lunch in our room. We watched the Mickey Cartoons channel and just chilled out for a couple of hours. And it was 100% worth it. It's worth it for you. It's worth it for them. It's a nice break in the day instead of being go, go, go. And with that, I would highly suggest if you're taking a toddler by yourself for a trip and you really want to get the most out of the experience for them and for you, to stay one night. If you want to stay more, if your budget allows for you to take a longer trip, go for it. You're gonna have a great time. But I think staying for one night, especially if you're local to the area, I think it's worth it. We are about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the parks, give or take traffic. And so for us to be able to spend the day at the parks and go back at night to the resort and sleep was so needed. I just know that it would have been difficult for both of us to have to come home very late at night and do that drive. So to be able to spend the night was perfect. I do not think that you need to stay on property. Although staying on property is wonderful, don't get me wrong. We didn't utilize the buses, which I think is a huge part of staying on an on-property resort, is just the transportation. We didn't use it. It was also very cold when we went, so it's not like we could have a resort day where we could swim at the pool and stuff. So hindsight 2020, we didn't necessarily need to stay on property. We could have stayed at a Disney Springs hotel or a little bit out of the Disney area, and it would have been fine, especially because we drove to all the parks versus utilizing their own transportation system. But I think that having the option to spend the night and then in the morning when we were ready after breakfast and getting dressed to just hit the park for a couple of hours and then you could go home, I think that the one night stay is the chef's kiss, perfect amount. My last piece of advice is the most important advice. So please, 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 if there's one thing to take from this video, this is it. And it's go at their pace. Do not ruin the magic for them by forcing the magic. The toddlers and small children that are going to the parks, they don't need a big crazy day where they rope drop to fireworks and they go on every single ride and meet every character and do the great dining experiences. The 3, 4, 2, 8-year-olds don't care about that. They just want to have a good time with you. Your energy and your attitude that you bring to the day is going to help them have a good day as well. If you're stressing out on your phone all day, looking at Genie Plus, looking at reservations, dragging them along, telling them to walk faster, let's go, they're gonna have a terrible time. So I really, really suggest to treat your children like children when you're on vacation. They're not going to transform into adults overnight. A long Disney day is hard for any adult. It's especially going to be hard for a child. I don't care if they're 2 years old or if they're 12 years old. It's a long day. So give them some grace. And by that, I mean, let them choose how the day goes. You know, if you picked the park, perfect, but let them lead the way. You know what I mean? I think what Lennon loved more than anything was having the opportunity to not be in her stroller, hold my hand, and just walk to each attraction. She loved being able to walk around. Again, the Genie Plus was great, so we were able to not wait too long in lines. We did not do any sit-down dining. I knew that that was not practical with the two of us, and honestly, just as people, my husband and I, were not big sit-down dinner people, so quick service was fine for us. We had an awesome moment where we shared a quick service meal from Casey's Corner, and we sat down in the Hubgrass at Magic Kingdom and watched the show on the castle as we grazed at our food. She got to run around a little in the Hubgrass. She had a great time. She also loved playing at the Boneyard experience over in Animal Kingdom and Dino Land, being able to just run around at a giant playground. Yeah, a playground is something that they can do at home. Things don't change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kids love playgrounds. So being able to take a break in between riding some rides to just let her run and burn some energy was worth it. A lot of kids are spending the entire day in the stroller. They're sweaty. They've been up since 7 a.m. They are being pushed and pushed and pushed to the limit. Maybe they need water. Maybe they need a snack. They're going to be grumpy. So just try to take care of yourself on a vacation. And I think my last little tidbit with don't force the magic is don't force your kids to go on rides that they don't want to go on. This is a big one. Lennon luckily is able to only ride a certain amount because of her height, but even so, she is a daredevil. She loved every ride that she went on and was often telling me to go more or go faster. So Lennon didn't have an issue, with any rides. But had we have gotten into a line and she started having a meltdown and didn't want to do it, wanted to go back to the resort or wanted to be in her stroller, we would have done it. I'm not going to sit in a 2-hour line listening to my toddler scream because they don't want to do something. It's not worth it. I promise it's not worth it. And 99% of the time, the attitude doesn't change once they get on the ride. They are probably still going to be upset on the ride. They're going to be upset when they're off of it. This also goes for kids who are a little bit older, who may get to experience more intense attractions. It's very normal for a kid to be scared to go on Haunted Mansion or to go on any of the coasters, even if they're small. So if they're nervous, if they're telling you they don't want to do something, you know your child's limits, of course. So if you feel like if you encourage them a little bit, they'll do it and be fine, then cool. But if your child is truly upset and they don't want to do it because they're scared, because they're tired, because they're hungry, because they need to use the bathroom, whatever it is, go with the flow. This is your child's vacation. In my opinion, and this may be a hot take, your vacations that you took before having kids were your vacations. But now that you have children and you are bringing your child to a destination to have some sort of vacation, it's for them, especially Disney. I have had my time at Disney. We have had great memories without Lennon. Now we are making memories with her. So I want her to have the best experience that she would want to have. It's about her. Whatever she wants to do in this trip, of course, within limits of safety and money, then yeah, we're gonna do it. Because trust me, there's nothing worse than sitting in a line, hearing a child the entire length of the line of 45 minutes saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to, I'm scared. And it doesn't change, and then they get up to the ride and then they start screaming because they don't want to do it. They're screaming on the ride and they're screaming getting off. Not only is it not enjoyable for you as the caregiver, it's traumatizing to that kid potentially, and then it also ruins the experience for everyone around you. It's not worth it, I promise. Disney is great, but it's not that great. Another piece of advice that I would give if you have a toddler, small child, especially with allergies, is to just bring your own food for them. And I'm talking breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. I regret not bringing more. First of all, you can't bring anything into the parks that needs to be heated up. So keep that in mind. But we all know that toddlers are very picky. So why I expected that Lennon would want to eat the cheeseburger pods in Pandora, I don't know. She did not want them. She didn't want anything over there. Hindsight 2020, I wish that I would have packed her a lunch. I think it would have definitely saved us money, but it also would have been something that she would have actually eaten. So in the future, when we go to the resorts, I'm going to be packing all of her food that she would normally eat at home and bring it with us, especially breakfast. She's very picky about breakfast. She wants almost the same thing for breakfast every day, and we can't really replicate that at Disney, at least not to what she wants it to be. And so for me to be able to just bring all of that would have been so much easier on my end. I did bring snacks for her. That worked out well. I did bring one dinner for her. That worked out well, but I should have brought more. And bring your own water. Oh my God. If you have the option to run to a store or to pack it with you like we did, bring cases of water. I wish we would have brought a whole case. I only brought a couple of bottles of water. It was a dumb idea. I should have brought an entire freaking case of water. We went through so much water. I ended up having to buy water. It's $5 a bottle. It was awful. So in the future, bring your own water bottle, bring your own cases of water. Trust me, it's worth it. And you can get the free cups of water at any of the parks. However, it is Disney water. It's the Orlando water. It's kind of gross. So unless you have a water bottle that has a filter in it that can filter out some of the nasty taste, that sulfury taste, if you have that, that's great. And if you don't, I don't know, consider bringing your own water or just suffer through the nasty Orlando water that is free to you. Okay. Actually, bonus piece of advice that didn't necessarily need to be applied for our trip, but could be for you. If you have a child that's really into souvenirs, if they're the kind of kid that goes into a store and wants something every single time, that's obviously going to be a concern when going to the parks. Things are expensive and almost every ride lets out into a gift shop. So I could understand how you may be stressed about that. For Lennon, she does not care about toys and gifts and souvenirs and stuff. Like I said, we spent so much of Monday and Tuesday going through shops, and she didn't want anything. And I was showing her things because she had a budget, $20 if she wanted to get something, and she didn't want anything. It was only at the very last shop of the night in Epcot, the last night of our trip, that she saw the plush that she wanted, which was Chubby, and she got it. But like I said, if you have a kid that's different and you know that they're going to be asking for stuff constantly, my biggest piece of advice is to just order little souvenirs ahead of time. They're not going to know that it's from Amazon versus the Disney store, right? So if you need to get a Mickey plush or some ears or a pool towel or whatever it is that you know that your kid will probably want for cheaper ahead of time, pack it with you. You could give them a gift a day leading up to the trip. You could give it to them all on the day of the trip, you know, whatever it is. It would probably be a lot easier on you, but also just giving your kids a limit of how much they can spend. I mean, that's a great lesson in money as it is, mostly if they're at the age where they can comprehend that when the money is gone, it's gone. I think it would be very hard to go on a Disney trip with a kid who expects some sort of souvenir or gift and to not be able to get anything. I think that would be kind of difficult. So however you can finagle it, probably for the best. Anyways, my overall takeaway is that I loved my trip with Lennon to the parks by myself for the first time. Just the two of us. It was great. Everything, she behaved exactly how I expected she would. It was just a relief when she actually did behave how I expected her to, you know? I was expecting things to go wrong and they didn't, and it was wonderful. That was our solo trip for 2 days at Disney World. We managed to do pretty much 3 of the 4 parks. The Hollywood Studios did not go the way that I intended. But the good news is now we are annual pass holders, so we will be going back and she will get that experience at Hollywood Studios eventually. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.